Hello? Alright, here we go. Sorry about that. My computer upgraded, I think. And I think that's what anyways, there was like a lot of updates that needed to happen, and that caused my mic to get disconnected, but we're all good now. I don't know why my model's not responding though. Alright, let's see. Alright, it's nope, not even this. That is so weird. Okay, I think we're just gonna go with like a regular PNG. Yeah, we'll have to go with this one. It's weird. Okay, I think I'll just have to figure it out later. So, let's see. It's yesterday I had like a lot of errands to run, so I wasn't able to stream progress. But we did get a lot more done. Okay, yeah, it was a lot. So, let's see. Michael and Joseph went to investigate the sheriff, and at that time, Lucinda had like escaped the nest and went after Sheriff Whitman. And so Lucinda found Sheriff Whitman and like wanted payback, but then like the Holy Knights appeared, and Sheriff Whitman just took off while Joseph and Michael were fighting Lucinda. And then we had this scene where Sheriff Whitman was running through the streets of Kanya, and he actually went to Mayor Asher, and they were discussing stuff. And I think it was revealed that the torture room belonged to Asher, not Whitman. Whitman was just like covering for him. But Asher like basically told Whitman to take the fall for it, give or take. And if that wasn't clear, I might have to go back and like write that down. But Asher doesn't really care for Whitman, and so back at the torture room, Joseph and Michael captured Lucinda and brought her to one of the cells at the sheriff's station. And Lucinda kind of like came back to herself. She's more in control, because before it was like getting controlled by like the broodmother. And then Michael like is talking to Lucinda and is apologizing about like, hey, sorry it turned out like this. And so he kind of convinces Lucinda to tell them where the nest is. She also tells them the fate of the little boy, Briar. Yeah, so Gabriel and Joseph talk to Lucinda, and she tells them where it is. But Lucinda knows that like they're not going to let her go. So I had it where Michael and Lucinda are alone and they talked. And, he's just apologizing, like, sorry about all this. I know you wanted to help, and it's a mess how it turned out to be. And she basically tricks him into stepping into the cell, kind of knocks him out, and it's like, yeah, you can kill me when I get my revenge. And so she takes off, and Michael's all like, oh, shoot. But before that happens, though, there's like this whole afternoon when she gets back, like when she's talking to the knights and when she talks to Michael. So I'm actually going to add a scene with the Holy Knights, with like Joseph and Gabriel talking about their next step. I also, though, I went back. I was because this is like we're almost at the end of the novel that I originally wrote, and so I'm like rewriting it. And so I went to the beginning of like this, my rewrite, and I'm like, oh shoot, I had like a completely like I had a character named Mother Yolanda that I never even wrote in. Like she was mentioned like once and then never again. And I'm like, oh shoot. So I created this character and she just disappeared off the page. So now I do have to go back and include scenes with her, and that's what I was doing last night. I had gone back and I was like basically skimming over it or like reading it. Reading over what I wrote, and I was taking notes, and I was like, okay, here, when this happens, add this. Or a lot of it was like, describe this, set the setting, maybe you should talk about the season. I think it would be like late autumn or something. I haven't decided, but I always thought it was like late autumn. So I'm like, yeah, I have to describe the weather, like not always the weather, but just the weather, because it's part of the setting, especially if it's like cold and all that stuff. And I was like making scenes of like, okay, Mother Yolanda does this here and like does this over here, and I was like, man, I feel kind of guilty. I left her by herself. So I have like one page back in front of like scenes and stuff I have to add, like describing the courtyard, when Lucinda goes up to meet Father Bennett. Just things that might just add more to the story, I think. And I mean, we'll add to it and then rewrite it if it's not there. And I'm like, man, okay, when Lucinda gets brought back to the church, and then the next thing we know, she's cleaning the floors. I feel like there's a huge jump, so I was like, make note, add here where Mother Yolanda actually tells her, she still got to do the job. She still have to do her chores. Just because she's a criminal doesn't mean you don't do chores. And so then it's kind of be like, oh, Mother Yolanda is supervising the cleaning until she gets called away, and then Taylor is supposed to be watching her now, because it was like Taylor and Yolanda watching her together. So one left, and then Taylor left, and that's why Lucinda got to escape. Well, escape, quote unquote, not really, because Ethan found out. But I was like, yeah, let's add all these other scenes. So I'm like, okay, going through the story, there will be a lot to add, especially if I have to insert a character that completely disappeared from the first page. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. But all that like translates to there's so much more of this story that still needs to be added. So we're not too down. We're not too bad off the plot, I guess. So speaking of the extra scene I have to add, I think it's also going to be Ethan and the others like trying to help as well. So let's have where Michael gets tricked by Lucinda as a different chapter, and then let's add a different scene where everyone's talking about what is their best move. Alright, so when Gabriel returned to the church, Joseph was in the makeshift armory. Preparing for the assault on the nest. There wasn't much in the storage room. Because the church would have some weapons. Like, I feel like maybe I should make it known that some of the nuns can, you know, basically defend themselves if need be. Especially if they're like the vanguard to protect people. But if that is it, maybe I can have like a scene where they're like training or something. That'd be pretty neat. I think that'd be pretty cool. Okay, we'll do that. And then it's like, I'll make a note. Let's see. Where are my sticky notes? Have to make it on my paper that I wrote. There we go. And maybe with that scene, the escort soldiers could like join in or something. Like that way we get more scenes with them. Okay, there we go. So it does work. Okay, because on my side, my chat was a little off, but no, it's working now. I don't know why other stuff aren't working, but that's what happens when you update your computer. Just problems sometimes. All right. There wasn't much in the storage room. A few spears, spikes, and I guess holy water. Like, yeah, they would have bottled holy water, you know, just like kind of like pepper spray. Towards weaker vampires, it affects them more, but stronger ones, like, yeah, it hurts, but they'll still come like for you. The newer ones are like, oh no, I'm on fire, and like, you know, can't really do much. I guess their pain tolerance increases when vampires get older. I think that would be pretty cool. Find everything you need, Gabriel asked. Joseph glanced at him before. What would it be? Fiddling with a bandolier of daggers. I feel like Joseph is kind of sarcastic. Maybe, I think. I guess that's how I see him. Maybe, well, he's very like straight to the point, like, oh, look how great of a job you did over here, which is like him saying, you messed up, man. So how will he reply though? It's like, find everything you need. Oh, sure. Yeah, like that. Oh, sure, he said. Snatched up everything. Gabriel gave him a look. You think it's enough? Joseph scoffed. Um, if we're lucky, but when are we ever lucky? Were they wearing their armor? Maybe that's one thing I have to. Let me check. I think they would be. I don't know, cause I haven't really talked about them wearing armor. We could put like right now if they're investigating, they just have their regular clothes. Maybe that's another sticky note I have to write. Mention if they're wearing their armor or not. Also, I guess like what kind? But it's like whether it be leather or chain or full like armor. Yeah, because that's important too. Yep, okay. There we go. Made another sticky note. I invested a lot in like sticky notes so I can just make notes all over the place. I bought some earlier this summer that they're a little thicker than the conventional ones. And there's one that like only have like a really small amount of like glue, or I guess stickiness. But these have like it's all across the back. It's only like a little part that doesn't, so you can like pick it off from the pad. But they're actually like, I think they're about the same size, but I like how the whole back sticks down and doesn't get the chance to like unstick itself if you accidentally like wiped it the wrong way or something. Yeah, but we don't know what they're wearing, so clothes. I think here the clothes would be important because it's also like status. Like, I made it a point where Father David removed Lucinda's headdress when he like denounced her and said, you know, you're no longer part of the church. And so I do have to go back and make sure I like write in like the type of robes she wears, and then when she gets rescued by Michael and given clothes after they like check her injuries, her clothes can be like basic, and it's just like a visual representation of her low status now. So definitely need to add more about their robes. Maybe we can do like a design. Like I know this is, I could have done this with like the prep, but I really didn't think about it till now. Maybe I could like, we'll do like a drawing stream of drawing the robes out for like Mother Yolanda and the other sisters, and then her since she's not like an official, but she's like a trainee, and then have like the different robes. I think that'd be pretty neat. I'm not very good at drawing, but I think I can make something. I'll take I'll like grab inspiration. I wonder if we should send word to Daniel. This time, Joseph dropped. Because that means, you know, when Gabriel's all like, hey, we might need some help, that's a little like cause for concern. Don't think it's going to having second thoughts. Gabriel moved around the room collecting Mm, holy flower name. Dried. Holy. It'll be dried. He'll be collecting stuff for the battle. Not second thoughts. Despite the obvious culprit. Because, I mean, honestly, everything does really point to Lucinda. Like, she's disappeared. Like, she caused all this trouble. Like, if she hadn't, like, attacked... If she hadn't been out there on patrol, like, patrolling illegally... nobody would have known, you know, about Kate, about familiars. Like, if she had mind her own business, everything would have continued to be like the same. Like, nobody would be wiser and like nothing. But, you know, she's not like that. She wanted to help. And so it seems like, oh, because she like unscrew the lid or whatever to this whole mess, it's like, yeah, she's behind this, or people are just like looking for someone to blame, to let, you know, to project their guilt and fear onto somebody. So no second thoughts despite the obvious culprit. I too sense something malignant. Malicious, malevolent, let's go like that. In the area. I worry that we won't be enough to burn this evil. We can take Michael with us. Okay, why is it like my Word document like changed color? That's so weird. It's been happening lately every time my background screen changes. Super weird. Gabriel shook his head. He's too invested. You said it was his plan to capture a vampire. If the Dawn officials... I need to create better names. If the Dawn officials heard this, you would be renounced? Is it renounced? I don't think it's renounced. Disavowed. Yeah. Okay. Let's use fancy words. Disowned. Wait, is it disowned or disavowed? Hang on. Disavowed. Yes, let's do disavowed. We could have done disowned, but disavowed sounds pretty good. There we go. He would, if the Dawn officials heard this, he would be disavowed. Daniel would take too long to get here. He might have already left. What was the other town? I did write it down. Rowana, I think. Yeah, we were near Rowana, and Sir Daniel went ahead. Okay, cool. I think that was 2 N's. And then we'll add it to the dictionary so it doesn't bother us again. There we go. Sir Gabriel called as a tent voice by the door. The holy knights turned and saw Ethan by the door. Joseph motioned him to approach. "Forgive me," the squire said, "but I heard you talking." Gabriel gave him a stern look. "I want to help," Ethan continued. "We've lost so many people. If I can be of assistance, then please tell me." Let's see, have you talked to Sir Michael about it? Gabriel asked. "He's been busy chasing..." And then he stops and he says leads, which is like, yeah, he's not really worried about him. He hasn't really checked in. So I think at this point, I'm gonna have maybe Captain Journey come in and say the boys right. We need to do something about those vampires. "I understand your sentiment," Gabriel began. But there are so many of them," Ethan interrupted. "Are you or only two of you to go after a nest? It could result in death." Joseph and Gabriel bristled at the word, his words. It's not like they're scared, but it's also like a matter of pride where, you know, Ethan really doesn't think that two holy knights can take on a nest by themselves. Which is fair, you know, but at the same time, it hurts their pride. "You don't think two holy knights can eradicate a nest?" Joseph asked. "That's quite the assumption." Ethan bowed. I meant no offense. Only from what from what's happened here, it's almost as if the vampires know our every move. Give me a second. Oh, sorry about that. My cats are like play fighting in my closet, and it's like you never know when they're play fighting because one thinks she's playing and the other one doesn't see that as playing, and then they're like hissing at each other, and it's like, my goodness, just trying to fight. I don't know. They were so fine. They were just sleeping, and then I don't know what happened. They chose violence. His words gave them pause. You think there's a traitor? Ethan hesitated. I did say Captain Journey was going to appear, but we're gonna hold off on it for now. I know, Miss Rosewater is charged with aiding the vampires, but while she hasn't been here, what am I trying to say? It's like every time we make a plan, she's not here, and yet the vampires know what we're planning. But honestly, there hasn't really been that much of a plan. But it seems impossible that she could do this on her own. I don't know if Ethan knows about the torture room. Or you know what? I think at this time, Captain Journey and I think maybe Torvik and Maynard could be like investigating the torture room, and then they come back to report or something. And it's like, this doesn't seem to be done by vampires. It was a person who did this. I mean, like, why would be like so much, wasted blood all over the place, right? So he motioned him to approach, and then Ethan said, "Forgive me." Okay, so I guess that makes it seem like he did come into the room. Perhaps, Joseph said. But she's detained, so we'll see if she's giving information to our enemy. Captain Journey appeared at the doorway and entered. Torvik and Maynard followed behind him. "We're here to report," Captain Journey announced. And I think that would be like they were investigating the torture room. Because it makes no sense that they would just leave it by themselves. Like, just leave it. Like, in the first draft, I think I just left it like that. And it was like, hey, this looks like a pretty good plot point. Maybe you should use it more. And that's what I want to do. Ethan moved to the side. It wasn't vampires, Torvik said. Too much wasted blood. Found these. Maynard showed them pliers and what are those called? It's like branding iron. Yeah, I think it's called, yeah, and a branding iron. Haven't seen any livestock that needed to be branded around here, because they don't, I mean, they're mostly farmers. They have like a mule like to pull the plow sometimes and, you know, carry stuff, but I don't they don't have cows. Then again, they don't have any dairy. I think it'd be fine if like we have it where they trade with another town for it. Like they grow like the grains or other stuff. And you know, yeah, they trade dairy for like what they grow here. So I think that would make sense. I haven't seen any livestock. There's Captain Journey said, if you're going after the vampires, I'd like to volunteer my services for the extermination, because that's what they see it as. You know, they're exterminating pests. Torvik and Maynard nodded in agreement. I also volunteer my services, Ethan announced. All 5 of them looked at the squire. Gabriel crossed his arms. We can't all go, he told the group. We'll be leaving the town defenseless. Perhaps the vampires will think it's a great opportunity to attack. Captain, Journey, Torvik, Maynard, and Ethan raised their voices in complaint. Because the captain understands as well. So he's not complaining, like he understands. And he wants to be the one to go. What about Sir Michael? Captain Journey asked. Will he join the hunt? Father David might not approve of that plan. Approve of his involvement. There is much to prepare for, Gabriel told them. When it is time to depart, we'll let you know. But all the others must remain here in case the nest seeks to repay the bloodshed. Like, he's thinking if they attack, then, you know, part of the nest might go and attack the villagers or something. Alright, let's take a look. How big is this chapter? I didn't want them too long, at least with pages. Oh, I don't think it's updating. Okay, let me count. Like 5 or 6. Okay, so replay the bloodshed. The 4 of them saluted and departed. Maynard left the instruments of torture on a crate. Neither of the holy knights spoke until they were gone. Do you want to take them up on their offer? Joseph asked. Maybe we can use them as a distraction. Well, the main force focuses on them. We can go in through a quieter route. Miss Rosewater spoke of one entrance. The vampires wouldn't let themselves be trapped that way. Hey Carly, how's it going? They'll have different routes of escape. Oh, you're moving? Yeah, no, sure, I understand, definitely. But thank you for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Let's see. The vampires wouldn't let themselves be trapped that way. And then it's going. It's a little slow. I wrote like the start of chapter 16 today, and then I realized there was like a huge chunk of time that wasn't unaccounted for, so I'm adding a different scene. Not a different scene, but I'm adding another scene, which is wholly new, and so I'm like, what's going on? I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever works for you, because, like, moving in general is, like, stressful. And then when you try to write on top of it, you know, I feel like it just adds extra stress. But, like, yeah, good for you for taking a break. Yeah, I mean, like, just forcing yourself to write after a long day, you know, I don't think it's a good combo. But yeah, I mean, whatever, you know, whatever works for you. Okay, so now that they're talking. Oh. Do you think they'll buy us enough time? Hero frowned. They've survived this long. All we need is the chance to find the brood mother. There we go. Then all that's left is talk to Father David. We'll want his blessing. I guess an approval before we can implement this plan. So while they're at the church, I think Father David's over there with the other people with Mayor Asher. Let's see. Because they're kind of suspicious of like what's been happening, because I feel like so much has happened, but they're just getting the wind of this. It just doesn't seem very natural, like they didn't really ask for help until, you know, now. And it was probably like just a coincidence even. I'll talk to him, Gabriel said. Make sure we have everything we need. There are no second chances when we go after the nest. All right, so then there's no second chances. It's like when night fell, Michael's with Lucinda and she's been detained. So we'll have that scene. And then maybe we'll have because if I add the scene where Gabriel is talking to Father David, then the timeline won't really match up, I feel like. So maybe at the start of the chapter, he'll go speak with Father David. And ask for the blessing. And then I'm thinking that maybe Father Bennett overhears this and sends word to whoever he needs to let them know what's coming. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. Like, I know there was like I mentioned that I had a character on like the very, very beginning, and I just wrote off out of nowhere. She never appeared throughout the story ever again. So I'm thinking that she'll exist up until the point that Briar gets taken. Because Briar wanted something to drink, and I was gonna say Mother Yolanda was like, you know, in the kitchen with him or whatever. And when he was kidnapped, you know, she was killed in the process, and that's why she doesn't appear for the rest of the book. So we do have to kind of like, you know, write her off, but I'll be a bit more dramatic way. I think maybe she'll have like a cool fight scene and like that. That way it's not like, oh hey, you just wrote her off. Like, no, you know, she died protecting Briar, but you know, Briar was still taken. And I touched upon Briar's fate as well, but I won't reveal it because I might change it. I might change how that happens. Because it seems a little bit cruel, but... At the same time, he wasn't, you know, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. And I'll just leave it at that. So then, if they're going after the nest, then it'd be like, we'll have a scene where the decoys are like drawing out the vampires and they're having traps and all this other stuff. And then we'll have a different scene with the Holy Knights are trying to come in. And then we'll have a scene with like Lucinda now escaped. She's, you know, chasing after Whitman to get payback. And then Michael chasing her. And it's, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of different scenes happening at the end. But I think I can do it. It'll be different. But I do want like a lot of players involved because it's like the climax of the story. Father David finished his dinner prayer as Gabriel approached him. Oh gosh, that sounded bad. The townsfolk had gathered around the campfire as Sister Evelyn and the other women helped prepare dinner. The townsfolk formed a line by the pot. Even Lieutenant Taylor helped distribute the soup and bread. Father David, Gabriel murmured, "If I may have a word." The priest motioned him to follow, and they began their walk around the courtyard. Oh, thanks. Trying to find the will to get back up. I understand. I mean, is it like, do you have like a deadline to move everything? Or is it like by a certain... Well, I guess that would be counted as a deadline if it has to be by a certain date. I mean, honestly, like a 20-minute nap doesn't hurt anybody. Just make sure you put a timer to wake up, because I've been like, I'll take a 20-minute nap. It turns into like a 2-hour nap, and it's like, oh, I should have put an alarm. So it happens. Sometimes, you know, you just gotta rest. What have you found? Father David asked. You'd rather get over it? No, yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I mean, a break is always needed, but, you know. Like a 20-minute break, you know, I don't think it'd be that bad. Let's see. What have you found? We've detained Miss Rosewater. Gabriel informed him he's been infected. So Michael extracted the location of the nest from her. Paused before continuing to walk. I take it all precautions have been taken to ensure the safety of this town. She won't escape without help, Gabriel assured him. When do you plan on attacking the nest? The sooner we burn them out, the sooner Tanya can go back to its daily life. The vampires would no, we can't give vampires time to rally. We're planning. Gotta go? Alright, sure. Thank you so much for dropping by. Good luck on your moving. Thank you, thank you. Planning on attacking, on striking in a just before dawn. They'll be weaker then. He blessed himself. Come see me before then. I will have my prayers ready. Those who are accompanying you can pay me a visit at the church. There is much. No, you can pay me a visit at the church. Alright, so let's take a look. Alright, so actually we are at 28,000 words, which was, you know, we're about an hour in. We did add a couple of more scenes, definitely with the planning and talking to Father David. And I think we're going to have another scene maybe, or it will be like a time skip, and we'll have it where Gabriel, Joseph, and Maynard gathered before Father David. in prayer. So that's where we're gonna start off, and then probably tomorrow for sure. But I will not be streaming tomorrow since I'm taking a break over the weekend from streaming. But we will be coming back on Monday for another stream. And at that point, we should already have 32,000 words altogether. I may or may not have already finished like the main plot. And then we'll probably have to like go back and add more things to it. Because technically we have about 17 days like till the end of July. And our goal is 16,000 words. And we're already at 28. And I feel like we are at the end of the novel as it, you know, ramps up to the climax. But I feel like there's a lot of resolution to still need to be added. And more scenes to add as well. And so that's what I'm going to be working on this weekend, is adding the scenes that lead to the climax. But I won't I won't go back to like chapter 1 and then add things there just yet. That's going to be after I'm done writing the whole story. And then I'll go back, kind of read what I have and add things to what I think should be added. Alright, as I said, on that note, we'll go ahead and finish up. It wasn't that long today. It was super short. There's been some other stuff that I'm dealing with, and we got what we needed as well. But let me go ahead and update the website. We're at 2882. So technically we're 57% done towards our 60,000 words. Like tomorrow we'll be at 50%. So it'd be pretty good. But yeah, I think overall I think it's coming out like really great. I mean, a lot has changed, a lot new additions, but I might have to also like redo parts of it, because I'm like, maybe because it's like, well, I really like what I had here in the original, so maybe I should just have it written differently or something. But I'm not too sure. It's a lot to plan, and you know, I just have to finish it first and then plan. So thank you again for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys on Monday with more progress. So have a great weekend and see you guys later. Bye.